So I think, yeah, we're now recording. So good evening, everybody. I think for those of you who don't know me, I'm Kendrick, and I am the Equality Lead for the Northwest region for the CWU. I work very closely with the gentleman in my top left-hand corner, but might be somewhere else on you, which is Carl Webb, who's the Regional Secretary. And also with Dave Kennedy and Emma Garner. And we have Sheila Biggins on here tonight. This was Sheila's idea. Right, so she's brilliant. She's got loads of great ideas. Okay, so it's really good to see everybody on tonight. So what we decided to do, I'll just do a bit of a recap, because we decided, or Sheila came up with this idea of doing a series of events on assertiveness and confidence. So I know some of you were on the first week, which is brilliant, and the second week we had something completely different, because 2 weeks ago we had an evening with a session with Sybil Hodge, who has written multiple books, wrote a book about trafficking women, which was absolutely fascinating, but powerful, really powerful. And if you've not seen, if you've not seen the book, you can get it on Kindle, I think, for, we said the first 50 people could drop that down. If you wanted to claim it back from us, let us know. So this week we start on the assertiveness. So this week's going to be something for you to do as well. So don't think you're just going to sit there with your coffees and stuff like that, because it's not going to be that easy. But what I've got a full slide pack here. So what we'll do is we'll go through the slides, and then once we've done this week's and the next one as well, and at the end of this series, we'll make sure everybody gets everything. We'll also talk to you, give you some ideas for resources and things like that as well. Okay. If any of you've got any questions, right, later on when we sort of get to that stage, pop them in the chat at the bottom, and we'll do our best. I'm hoping that we'll get finished for about 6:45 to 7 o'clock. Okay. So I'm just going to share my screen now so you can see the slides. Hopefully you'll all be able to still hear me. You're all on mute except for me. Right, if everybody's on mute, I think, did we have one person that wasn't there? The only person's me. No. Right, okay. That's good. Right, okay, I'm just going to share my screen. Fingers crossed this works. Okay. And it should do. It should be working this. Let me get this up. Okay, right. So you should all have a nice purple and black sheet up there that says assertiveness. I presume everybody's got that. Not, if you haven't, just let me know. Oh, good. Mr. Pascal's coming on as well. That's lovely. Right. So we're going to be talking about assertiveness. So what is assertiveness? To different people, it might mean different things, right? Some people think that, if women are assertive, we're bossy, we are demanding, aggressive, and things like that, which we're absolutely not. Oh, sorry, I don't think we are anyway. Okay, so as that is right now, I've now got to find out how I can page on with this. Just bear with me. Right, there we go. Right, this is all part of learning, and this is all part of building my confidence, believe me. So assertiveness, when we're talking about assertiveness, assertive behavior, right, it's a way that what we're going to do is we need to express what we want, what our wants are, what our needs are, our opinions, our feelings, and beliefs, but do it in a direct and honest way. So do it without apologizing for being who we are. Okay. And do it without sort of, being too passive and letting other people do things as well. So I've just put a little balance thing there, because assertiveness is based on balance, and aggressive behavior is based on winning. Simple as that. That's a win-lose situation. So the best position that we really want to be in is that middle ground where nobody wins, but everybody is respected, and we're able to do what we need to do. So it's no one person wins, you both win. So something is brought out of it. And I think as union officers, for us, anyone who's done personal cases knows that this is something that we have to do. And it's something that I've learned. I certainly couldn't do it when I started. And it is, something that we've carried on. I've carried on and learned to do. So, next one. Right, so what I'm going to do in a minute, I'm going to put you into breakout rooms. I told you I was going to make you do something. And I'm going to put there, how many situations can you think of at work where you might need to be assertive? Okay, and all I'm after is just 10. So what you might want to do is each sort of throw one in. I think I'll probably split you into, I'm just looking at this. I'm just looking at how many breakout rooms I can show you. Please forgive me at the moment while I'm doing this. There's all the facilities are there, but trying to find them is a different matter. Okay. Oh dear. Right. Carl, have you got it on yours? Does it say breakout rooms at the bottom or something on yours? No? Yes, it does. Can you go into that button where it says breakout rooms, put the number 4 in? Okay, and then press automatic and it should go through.
So you want me to set up 4 rooms?
Yeah, 4 rooms.
5 participants per room?
Yeah. Okay. That'd be ideal. So what I want, so just before you do it, just before you push the button and they all shoot off and you're all randomly going to go into your rooms, it does need one person to sort of just say, okay, you know, when we come back in, might be one of you might say what the 10 where you came up with. But, you know, how many situations can you think of at work? Because we're primarily talking about assertiveness at work. And what sort of situations? Now, it could be a situation with a customer, could be a situation with a stranger, right? It could be a situation with colleagues, managers, right? It could even be a situation with a dog, okay? You know, where you've got to speak to the owner, okay? So that's the sort of thing that we're thinking of there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put you into your group now, and then I think if we come back about 20 past, it's 13 minutes past at the moment, so 25 past. Okay, we'll bring everybody back at 25 past. We'll have a chat about it and see what people come up with. So have a bit of fun, just talk between yourselves, and I'll probably pop in at some stage just to see how we're doing. Okay, Carl, can you press the button, please? Thank you.
They've all been invited to join the room, so. Claire, can you hear me?
Right, I've just got myself back into.
I was just about to text you. I can
All right,
move
I've
you.
just got myself back. I've managed to get myself. I don't know where Kathy's gone, but I don't.
There's Kathy. I've got Kathy and there's not
Me and
gone
you.
into a group. Don't know where
No,
she's.
it's just the three of us that haven't got into a group. That's fine.
I can move you though. If you go into a group, I can move you around.
Can you move me to the different groups?
Yeah, I can move you break round.
I've just been in group 4.
Yeah, I can move you
Yeah.
group. You want to go to group 1?
Yeah, move me to group 1, and then I'll text to go to 2, etc.
Okay, we'll do
Okay,
that.
thank you.
No
Or I'll
problem.
return back here and then we can do it again. Thanks. All good fun.
Well, it hasn't moved yet.
Hasn't moved.
Hang on. Oh no, you've got to join, Karen. You've got to press to join.
I've got
Somewhere.
to press join what?
When you know that,
Participants.
yeah. When it says join, you've got to. It says here Karen Kendrick not joined, so you have to press something to join. I can't see.
Okay. Breakout room. Hang on. Join breakout room 1. Got it.
Bye.
Oh, that worked well. Can you flip me into 2?
Sure, certainly. Off you go.
Come on. What is it?
Oh, hang on a sec. Is this 2? Are we in 2?
No, you haven't moved yet.
Oh, I've got Wendy and Sonia on here now with you and Kathy.
I was on, Karen, I was on 3 and I couldn't get my microphone on. So,
Right.
And then take me to workshop 2.
Right, okay. Well,
Wendy, which group should you be in?
Group 3.
Let me try again. Let's try.
Andrew Harper, the police officer,
Thank you.
tried to stop thieves escaping with a stolen.
Sonia,
Hello,
which group should you be in?
I'm just reading my email actually.
Right.
To workshop 2.
You're in no man's land at the moment.
Excuse me. It's got here workshop 2.
Workshop 2, right. Let me see.
Am I in the right group?
No, you're not in a group. You're in no man's land, or woman's land, I should say.
Okay.
I'm
What
just
does that
trying
mean?
to see if just seeing if I can assign you. So you should be in what waiting room? Sorry.
It said
2.
workshop 2. Workshop 2. Remind.
Oh God, you've gone. Hello.
I'm back. I've done 2. Put me in 3.
Put you in 3. Sonia's come back. 1 minute.
Yeah.
Don't
know.
back in.
Yeah. Do you know which breakout room you were in, Sonia?
No, I've logged in late. I've logged in late. Sorry for that.
Right, that's fine. Maybe stick her in 4 because I think there are only 3 people in 4.
It won't make me do that. It won't let me do it.
You do it.
No,
Oh,
it's
okay.
right. Just hang fire, Sonia. Where do you want me to move you, Karen?
If you move me into 3. And if you can move Sonia into 4, that'd be useful. Yeah. Hi, Sonia. Anyway, we're just in breakout rooms talking about some examples of how, of when we might need to be assertive at work.
Yeah, I've seen the PDF. I've
Yeah.
had it open, looked at it.
Right.
Let me go and turn this radio off, please. Hold on.
Right.
I'm going, Karen.
It's all right. You just let me know when it's done.
Right, Karen. Move to, which one, Karen?
3.
There you go.
Right. I'm going by.
Sonia,
Hello.
I've assigned you to classroom 4.
So just press join, yeah?
Yeah, just press join.
I have no idea what happened there. I just disappeared.
I'll tell you
Literally.
what, it's really nervous trying not to touch anything because I'm thinking if I go, the whole
know.
thing stops. I'll tell
Can
you.
Can you put me on co-host again? Because I can't share.
Yeah,
at the
yeah,
moment.
no problem. Let's do that.
Or to share. I just want to put on the chat that we're bringing him back in. Yeah. Okay.
I can just close all the rooms when you.
I'll just let him know.
Yeah, no problem.
We'll be bringing you back in 1 minute. Okay. Right. That's better. So I'll just get the share screen set up again. I'll tell you something, it's very weird being zoomed from room to room, honestly.
Yeah.
It's a very strange sensation.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's working. Let's be honest, it's working.
Well, my
It just-
polls popped up now at the bottom as well,
Oh,
right? So I don't know why.
it's weird. Why wasn't showing hard?
I don't know. When everybody comes back, I might just do, well, I might just do the poll if we have time later.
Okay.
Right, Marcy's coming back in.
Do you want me to close all the rooms?
Well, I said to him 1825.
But
Then
all-
yeah, close the rooms and bring everybody back in.
Yeah.
I'll
Hi
let,
there. Hi. Can you see me now?
who's that? Oh, is that you, Marcia?
Yes, it is. Oh, yeah. He
Yeah,
can.
we
Oh,
can see you.
Ray.
You're waving. Hello. It's Christine. You just managed to make it on, Christine. Everybody's popping back in.
Yeah.
That's good.
We're learning. It's
Oh,
not,
yeah.
I've closed the breakout rooms, and it does it in 60 seconds. It's a countdown.
All right. That's
Yeah.
good.
He's Marty's back.
Yeah. We're on 26 seconds. Very exciting.
Karen,
Yes.
sorry, I was online before, but I got disconnected.
Yes, don't worry about it. We know
Okay.
this happens with people's broadband
Yeah.
and stuff.
Okay.
You know,
All right.
I had it happen to me twice today on other calls. Plus, it dropped me out earlier on as well. So
Yeah, that's what's happening. Okay.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
Here we go. We've got more coming back now. Off the 1 minute countdown.
That was really quick.
2021. Yay! So we've got everybody back now. Right, okay. So for those of you not tried breakout rooms before, and we haven't tried them before, well, we haven't done them that way, but we have now. That you know, hopefully you should have had a little chance to have a bit of a chat about the sort of things that can happen in a work-related situation. So let's go to group one. Who wants to? Somebody put your hand up. Whoever it is going to speak for group one.
Tell us who was in group one.
I don't know who was in group one. Was it you? Sheila was 4. Oh, you were in 1. You were 1, weren't you, Angela?
It was, right.
That was you, I think. Was it
We're
1?
looking at what number group we was in.
Yeah. So if everyone else can keep muted, that'd be great, and we'll let Ange feedback on their group.
Okay. We've just got a list. I'm just going to go through the list. We had putting forward for union roles. Yeah, you have to be assertive for that. Negotiating with managers.
Absolutely.
Yeah, with talking to your work colleagues. Assertiveness when you're talking just to managers before you get to a meeting, if you're just talking to the managers on the floor and stuff. Yeah, dealing with customers on the streets. With your work colleagues, that's going to not to come in early and start the jobs early. Confident in talking to casuals in the mail centre. At the moment in the mail centre, they've got loads of casuals coming in, and they've got to be confident talking to them about the PPE and COVID and stuff. Branch committee meetings, especially when you're the only woman. Yeah. For distribution, we had people being sent out in vehicles they are not trained for. So then they ended up having arguments about they're not trained to drive that vehicle. Why are you sending them out in that vehicle? And we've also got the 11-hour rules. People's not complying to it. So people are having issues and arguing with people about why you're not complying to the 11-hour rule.
Can I just confirm the 11-hour rule you're talking about having an 11-hour break, the European Working Time Directive? Right,
yes,
okay.
your time.
Rules non-Royal Mail people, you see. I just
yes, sorry.
That one.
Who's a Royal Mail group?
Yes. Okay, so thanks for that, Angela. I mean, you know, I think that's a good point there. Talking to colleagues is probably one of the things we do the most, whether no matter what work background we're from. And talking to colleagues, managers, customers, I think that's common to all of us, and that's at times like that when we need to be more balanced in our views. We all have quite emotion, you know, our emotions when we're doing things, but we need to be looking at what's balanced there. So group 2, who was in group 2? Yes, group 2. Oh, Maggie, right, okay, over to Maggie, just unmute yourself.
I've got the short straw there.
Well done, yeah.
I was with Claire, Name and Marcia, and it's kind of similar, something similar, but like arranging meetings, because, well, I'm in BT, so we're not always in at the same time, so it's getting that arranged. Getting a happy compromise with customers, because when we're on the phone, if we're getting telling the customer that their broadband's not going on for like 3 months, getting a compromise for that. Shifts with your colleagues and your managers, just tell them how it is, stand firm. There's not any point in talking wishy-washy. Set expectations, be absolutely honest with with members and whatever. There's not any point in, yeah, you've put £100 on your own bill, so your job's going to be fine. Mediation, and then a firm hand, and like with dogs or with children, because then they know who's leading the way, I suppose, and show confidence.
Yeah, Absolutely. All those things, again, are things that, you know, on a day-to-day basis, and say being somebody that was started off in the in the God's Poor Orphans, you know, when we were the GPO, and then moved on to BT, and then moved on to Open Reach. You know, these are the kind of things, like you say, with our customers, which are the sort of things that we need to do. I deal with engineers a lot, and I can honestly say that one of the biggest things I ever had to do was telling engineers what to do. That was probably the one that really taught me how to be assertive, you know, on that odd occasion when they said, I don't want to do what you say because you're just a woman, right? So, you know, there are situations like that that we've been through. So thanks a lot for that, Maggie. That's great. So group 3. Right, go on, Danielle.
Okay, so we had some similar ones, negotiations, raising issues with managers, when you've got a disability and you need to get your point across of what you need, being assertive with members who come in thinking that you can work miracles. From my personal experience working on the 999 service, being assertive with the customer, getting what they need to get them connected. Unexpected situations such as accidents, first aid within the business, complaints from members or customers, release time, facilities time, and if you're returning from sick, what you need. Don't let the business to pressure you.
Yeah, so again, we've got some new ones on there, you know, things like returning from sick, whether you're a member or whether you're a union officer. It's still something where you have to really end up sitting there and talking, you know, in the right way to get that balance again. So it's not about a win or lose situation, right? It's about everybody coming out down the middle, nice and balanced, and winning as well. Okay, we'll just let Tracy in as well. So last one, group 4. Is that you, Sheila? Yeah, I thought so. Anything to add on there?
Right. First one I came up with was in your mail. You do sometimes, we work in pairs now, and sometimes you can be paired with someone that doesn't pull the weight. So sometimes you have to sort of like have a gentle word in the ear sort of thing, right? Otherwise, you do get a lot of people in your mail that will put on you, right? We also said saying no to overtime. And this is one of my downfalls, I need to learn to say no and just say straight no. Don't try and think of an excuse. Just say no, don't want to do it. You know, where you try and think of an excuse why you can't do the overtime when you should be just going, no, sorry, don't want it, right? So, but they do put pressure on you when they're under the hammer. Managers will try and put pressure on you to go over your time or to do an extra bit of work on top of your own work, right? And we also mentioned about dealing with angry customers, you know, and how you deal with it is you can't be too, it's like you said, you can't be too angry, because if you get angry because they're angry, it's going to explode. If you're too passive with them, it sort of like bigs them up, and they think, you know, they can get more angry because you're taking it. So what I normally do is say, sorry about that. What I can do for you is take it back to my manager and let me manager know about your problem. So that generally does for everything. And then Vera came up with a good one. She came up with sometimes, you know, when you can have a group of people and someone might start talking in their own language, right? And it makes people that can't understand that language feel uncomfortable. And she said, well, she deals with it is she says, well, I'm Welsh. If I started talking in Welsh, you wouldn't be able to understand me, you know, to my colleagues, and wouldn't that, so it's putting them in your shoes. Yeah. So, and that helps them understand. Talking to managers, I think we all had that one, you know, you do need to be assertive when you're talking to the managers. And I think that was, I think that's all we had. We did have something about, you know, if someone's behaviour is not right and you're approaching them about the behaviour as well, that can be a tricky one. So that was us.
Thanks for that, Sheila. I think, you know, you've all come up with some fantastic things there, and I think there's some really good points there, because I think the times we have had to work with people who say, you don't pull the weight, how do you talk to them? You know, what do you actually say? I think saying no is actually a big issue as a rule for us women, right? Until we get to that point where we can actually turn around and say, actually, you know, I'm actually not comfortable with doing that, or, you know, to say, I've got other things I need to do. But like you say, you always feel like you need to make an excuse for it, right? Instead of saying, I just don't want to do it, right? And in a little while, I'm just going to come on to some of the rights that we have with regards to assertiveness. So those were, you know, those were absolutely spot on. There's so many different situations there, and that's just work. We've not even thought about home life. We've not thought about, you know, neighbours. We've not thought about, you know, the people out in public and situations. I think at the moment, I mean, one of the things I've had to do is talk to neighbours about social distancing, right? Because the police can't do it all. But I know why Stockport potentially is going to go on lockdown, because a full lockdown, because of the way they're behaving, you know, and they're putting everybody else at risk. So, you know, I think we're in new times where assertiveness is coming forward as well. So what I want to do now is share the screens again with you, go through a few more slides, and then we'll have a bit of a chat at the end. To say, for those who've just come on, and welcome to Tracy, I can see Tracy down there, and Mel, and Sue's on, and I love the little one there, Sue, by the way. We had little one on there with his little toy, if you didn't see there, it was so cute. I'm just glad the cat's not jumped up, right, because otherwise the screen would just go black if the cat jumps up. So for those of you who don't know, I've got a Maine Coon, and she sort of fills the screen to about there, so that's probably why. If she jumps up, you'll know about it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share my screen again with you. She says, here we go, we are back where we should be, and I am just going into from the current slide. Come on, there we go. Okay, so there's a few that I thought of. So when I was prepping this up, and I thought, what situations have I been through? We said about behaviours there, asking a colleague to stop swearing. I used to work with a guy who every other word started with an F. Okay, I don't mind a bit of swearing, but not that much. Okay, training was mentioned as well before, and I think, you know, as colleagues, we quite often have to show people how to do things, and I think it's like, you know, the way we come across in doing that as well is nicely, you know, we need to be nicely balanced, taking into consider their position, our position, needing to make a decision with others. And again, I think that was covered about the pairing as well, because, you know, if you've got to work with other people and you've just done exactly this in your breakout rooms as well, because you've all been working with other people. It was mentioned about facing an angry customer, and that's definitely in the contact centres, right? And in our engineering world, as well as in the Royal Mail world. Overhearing someone being nasty to a colleague. Again, I've been in that situation where I've heard people really having a go at somebody else, and actually stepped in and said, I don't think that's right what you're talking about. Okay, this was a horrible one, talking to a colleague about the body odour. Went to the boss, we said, we've got a bit of a problem with this guy, and the boss went, well, I'm not talking to him. So guess who did it? Muggins. And he was really reasonable when I did speak to him about it, and he said even his mum had told him that. So, you know, we've said about raising issues with the manager, whether it's one about disability, whether it's safety, whether it's taking time off. There's lots of different issues with, you know, raising things with the manager. Asking someone to do something. I mentioned before, when I was what they call a controller in the engineering world, I had to tell engineers what to do occasionally. And I was really, really nice with them. But every so often I did get, because I was the first woman to do it in the Northwest, right, I did get that, I'm not doing what you tell me because you're just a woman, right, which is, whoa, you know. And I also was in a situation where I sat in the office, and there was a big conference room at one end of the room, of our floor, and people always came to me, the suits, excuse me, love, have you got the key for the conference room? And my stock answer was, now, why would I have the key? And most people got that and went, oh, sorry, I shouldn't have assumed. One did actually, and I just said, I'll just take you to the gentleman who's got the key, right? Just because I'm a female does not mean that I'm here to sort of, you know, I wasn't what they call a clerical assistant, but we had a lad who was, okay? Challenging colleagues not pulling the weight, that was covered there, and colleagues about the behaviours. I think things like behaviours and the way they talk about people, this is something that was on the call this afternoon. We were talking about things like Black Lives Matter and, you know, the way work colleagues are dealing with each other. Okay, so that's just some of the ones that I came up with. So, as part of assertiveness, what we've got to understand is you've got needs to be met, but so have the other people. There is always two sides to this, okay? I said you have rights, and I'll come to that in a minute. And, you know, the other person has got the same rights as well, even when you disagree. And one of the best things is to actually try, wherever possible, to take the emotion out of it and try and look from both people's perspectives. It's something as union officers that we have to learn to do with the business. I'll tell you now, our members are not always right, and the business is definitely not always right. Okay, so you know, it's looking at both of them and seeing, can we actually find that middle ground? Remember that balance, right? To actually say, okay, let's do a bit for you and a bit for them. Compromise was mentioned before as well, because that's, you know, especially in the situation that Maggie mentioned. Right, compromise is a big thing there when you're trying to tell customers, you know, you're not going to get their line on for a long time. So that's you know what we actually need to have when we come into. Okay, oh please don't do this to me, computer. Okay, have you all got? Can you see that? Mine's come up all fuzzy. Right. Okay, let me just try again. Okay. Try this a different way. Right. Me on share. Oh dear. I love technology. I'm in telecommunications. I love technology. You know, it has to throw us a bit of a flanker at times, doesn't it? So I'm going to try and knock that one off. Right, and then we'll try again. No, not working that one, is it? Right, I'm sorry about this, folks. What I will do is I'm going to see if it'll go on to the next one. I have no idea. These were head office's slides, by the way, to start off with. So what I'll do.
Karen, go back.
Oh, hang on, look. Oh, sorry, that's why. That's why. Hang on, they're flying in. That's obviously why. I've obviously got to press buttons. Okay, there we go. Yay, thanks. Right. So it had the twiddly bits on. So we shouldn't be aggressive. We should always try to get what you want, but not in any way that works. We shouldn't give rise to bad feelings in others. We shouldn't threaten, cajole, manipulate, be sarcastic or fight, even though it's tempting, and we've probably all done it. We don't want to be passive and just go, excuse me, but, you know, but it is something I think, again, that sometimes we do. We shouldn't just hope we'll get what we want. You know, we need to be direct. We need to be able to do that. We shouldn't sit on our feelings. I think we all know, with mental health being such a big issue, a big topic nowadays, that we do need to share that as well. And we shouldn't use the crystal ball and assume that, rely on others to guess what you want. I mean, I often say to the guys at work, and I say, you know, unlike you, I haven't got a crystal ball, you know, but so I don't know what they want. Okay, so we shouldn't, that's something we don't want to do. We don't want to be aggressive. We don't want to be passive. Okay, what we should do is ask for what we want. Okay, we should be direct and we should be open. We should remember we've got rights, and we should ask for things confidently. I could not have done this 14 years ago at all. I was not this person. Okay, it's only through, you know, learning, going on the courses that I've done with the union, experiencing things, I've got to that point. And I've got people like Angela to thank for that, and Tracy, who's on, and other people that are on, who have all helped me along my way. So what are the 3 steps we need to use for dealing with difficult situations? Okay, so the first thing we've got to do is decide what it is we want. You know, how do we feel about it, and state it specifically and directly. Quite often we refer to the word I. I feel this, I feel that. One of the things I hear a lot from members is, my manager made me feel like this, my manager made me feel like this. And it's not that. You know, we have to take responsibility for our own emotions. So we need to sit down and try and decide what it is we want, you know, how we feel about it, and be able to say that. And then stick to that same statement and repeat it. Don't get sidetracked. Don't try and make an excuse. You know, sometimes people will try and knock you off the path that you're on because they're uncomfortable, right? And they will do things to try and you need to deflect those responses that undermine you when they say, oh, well, I can't do that because, right? Or well, do you not think it'd be better if I do this, and speculation and things like that. So it's about us literally 3 steps to dealing with difficult situations. Decide what you want, tell them how you feel about it, and state it specifically and directly. I say to members about grievances, you don't go in with a grievance unless you know what you want out of it. Okay, you have to have, you know, something that you're going to request or something that you want out of it if you go into formal grievances. But it works just as well when you're doing things informally. 9 times out of 10, I can sit down with managers, and I've done it today, and an individual, and we had a call and we worked stuff out. And no grievances needed to be done. Okay, so stick to the statements and repeat it. So what are your rights? Okay, these are the rights I was telling you about before. Okay, you have the right to state your own needs and priorities. So we will send these out to you, so you know you will get a copy of these. So you've got a right to state your own needs and priorities as a person, and that's independent of any roles that you might assume. That's whether you're mum, daughter, brother, sister, colleague, you know, anything that you might do in your life. Okay, you've got the right to be treated with respect as an intelligent, capable and equal human being. We all have that, but so do the people we're talking to as well, and sometimes that's difficult when you're dealing with awkward situations. You've got the right to express your feelings. You can say there and said, I felt like that when you said that to me, and that's, I'm not comfortable. I feel very uncomfortable with that. Right? Right to express your opinions and values. Of course you have. We all have a right to express our opinions and values. And we've got the right to say yes or no, especially when they're always asking for overtime, Sheila. Right? Okay. And, you know, in BT at the moment, the engineers, right, are on contractual overtime. So, yeah, they have to do some. They don't have to do absolutely everything they're being asked to do, but they have to do some. We've got the right to make mistakes. Oh, flipping heck. I mean, I have made some corkers while I've been doing the union stuff. And as I said tonight, you look at things that have gone wrong a little bit tonight. It's not been all sweetness and, you know, and perfect along the way. Things happen and mistakes happen. But if we're self-aware, we can actually sit there and say, actually, hold my hands up, that didn't work very well. But we learn something and we move on. Okay. We've got the right to change our minds as well. Okay. So we have the right to say we don't understand. And especially, I come across this a lot in training and development, you know, and performance management, where people don't want to say they don't understand because they think they're going to be viewed, right, as, you know, as being thick. Okay. I know somebody at the moment who is literally saying to his MVQ assessor all the time, oh, there's no point telling me this, I'm stupid, I'm thick, I'm stupid, I'm thick. So where's that come from? You know, you've got the right to ask for what you want. And that's, you know, the word is ask, not demand, right? You know, we do get members sometimes who do come on and say, I want this, I want that, you've got to get me this, you've got to get me that. So they've got a right to ask, but they haven't always got a right to get. But we have got the right to decline responsibility for other people's problems as well. We don't have to take responsibility for someone else. It is the hardest thing. I've had things happen in my personal life where, you know, I have had to walk away from dragging myself into the ground for the sake of someone else. And, you know, as members, as work colleagues as well, we do that. You know, we don't, you know, it's nice to help people out, but at the same time, we don't have to take responsibility for other people's problems. And I say we've got a right to deal with others without being dependent on them for approval. But we do that. We do tend to actually want other people's approval. It's a normal human response, that. But again, as women, it's a case of, yeah, I love it. I love it when somebody sends me a thank you, right? I love it, you know, when somebody approves of what I've done. And it does give me that buzz, and it gives me satisfaction. It gives some job satisfaction in doing that. But I don't need it. I'm my own person, right? And I have my own roots as well. Okay, so that's the rights on assertiveness. And I just thought, you know, we'd finish with that. You know, in every difficult situation, there's glittering opportunity. Stronger relationships, deeper understanding, and new meaning. If accepted, these opportunities can bring us fulfillment and even joy. So what, I need to unshare now. So how do I unshare? Unshare. How do I unshare? Does anybody know how to unshare? Cal, can you unshare me? No? Oh, stop share. There, found it. Yay, I've got your back again now. Okay. So this was literally only a bite-sized chunk. It wasn't designed to be, you know, a course on assertiveness. It's just designed to actually bring us in to start looking at what it means and what we're going to be doing about, you know, what we can potentially do about it. And in 2 weeks' time, what I want to do really is spend more time just talking through scenarios with each other, sharing experiences, and rather than doing slides and stuff like this. But I will just, you know, I will say, is there anybody wants to raise anything now? Does anybody want to make any comments or ask any questions at the moment, just while we're looking around? I love it. I love it. It's nice when everybody's like that. Okay. I like to see the smiling faces. Right. Did you want to make a comment, Kathy, or were you just waving? You're just waving? No, you want to make a comment? Come on then, in them. Unmute yourself. Hey.
Hi. Sorry about that. Apologies. But yeah, I think that's been fantastic. And thank you for that, Karen. It's sort of put us into perspective where we are as women, I guess. All of us, you know, there's all these women on this call are amazing. And sorry, the gents as well. However, I just wanted to say, I guess, that it's a work in progress, isn't it, for women? You know, it really is. And the more you do, ladies, the more involved you become, the more confident you feel. And I think that's it's absolutely key. And whether you have a win or a knockback, because we're all human, I think it's massively important to know that, you know, it's sort of maybe one step forward and a couple of steps back from your learning, you know. And you know, this job is, I was thrown into it, you know, it's like, boom, there you go. Off you go and do, you know, do this job. And I was like, okay, well, I've been a rep for years, but I ain't done this job. And now I'm part of the executive of our union. So, you know, I suppose it's testament to every woman that what you think you can't do, well, actually, when you put your mind to it and you're convicted enough, you know, then you can do it, you know.
Yeah, I fully agree, Kathy. And I think, you know, as I said before, I mentioned before, there are people who are on this call tonight who's given me tremendous support, right, and continue to give me tremendous support. And I know that I've taken so much learning from so many people, from so many different situations. But I think, you know, we've got to be, this is where confidence comes from. Try it, right? Just, you know, try and do things, try and tackle things, but do it the right way. And I always say to my engineers, you know, if their managers are behaving badly, I say, well, we're not going to. You know, we're going to be professional and we're going to be reasonable. And when people come up and say to you, oh, somebody's bullying and harassing me, right? 9 times out of 10, I will change that word and say, no, what they're doing is being unprofessional and unreasonable. And again, if you don't go in straight away with the big guns, sometimes we get a lot more of what we actually want out of this. So I just want to leave you with a couple of recommendations that I've not written down anywhere, but there are a couple of absolutely fantastic books that I've read over the years. Tracy's going to come in. Sorry, she's waving like mad at me. Sorry, Tracy, do you jump in, darling?
Yeah. Just to say, Karen, absolutely agree with the points that you've made on these slides. However, I think there also has to be a responsibility to say, whilst you've got the right to express your opinions, there are consequences sometimes on those opinions, and there are consequences on where you express those opinions and how you express those opinions. So it's okay saying, you know, we've got all of these rights. But actually, if you went onto Facebook, for example, and said your manager was a complete and utter, whatever descriptive you want to use for your manager, and you went and did that on Facebook, there would be consequences to that. So, so it's about taking responsibility for your rights. And I've always found, I've been doing this job for a long time. I've always found that what you have to do is make sure that you're giving a helping hand to people that are coming in behind you, and that you have to clear some of that path for them. And I've seen huge changes within the union and the workplace. But I remember, I mean, Carla remember, those first meetings I went to, Carla, as regional meetings, I was the only woman in the room for a long time. So things are changing. But like I say, you have to know your audience and you have to know your arena. I think, personally, I always think it's okay to get angry. It's okay to express that anger. But you need to know where you're doing it and when you're doing it and how you're doing it. I have on occasion told managers where to go, how to get there and not to come back. But I've made sure I weren't overheard when I was doing it.
Yeah. I think it's a really good point, that, and I totally take that on board, Tracy, because you're absolutely right. We have to pick our fights, right? And the world of work, right? I say to people, it's not the work you do, it's the job. Right, you need to be very careful what you're doing about your job, which is everything that goes with your work. Right, you've got to be careful who you say what to, right, because we know there are networks out there, we know there are people who will go back and tell people, you know, what's said. And I think this is where, you know, that professionalism comes in. But you're absolutely right, you know, we do learn and we share our experiences, but we have to be careful what we say where. And I think things like Black Lives Matters and, like you say, Facebook has been one of the, you know, social media. I think we've all seen the horror stories there. Some of us might have dealt with cases as well there. And I think we've got to be very, very aware of that. I see stuff posted that really shouldn't be posted at all. But, and on that note, I say, sorry, Tracy, go on.
I was going to say, and it's particularly annoying because people will say things in closed groups with friends and believe that their post or the opinions that they're expressing is the same as expressing them in a pub, and it's not when it comes to social media. Anything that you're writing down is there forever. So it is something that we need to be, particularly as women, be cognizant of, I think, moving forward.
Yeah, say great point, Tracy, and you know, I'll definitely take that on board. I think if I do this again, I'll make sure that that's included as well, because it, you know, it is such a good point. So has anybody else got any comments to make? I'm not looking at anybody frantically waving. Right, just checking, Wendy and Sonia, I can't see you. So if you two want to say anything, just unmute yourselves if you do. No. Right, okay, so I say I'll leave you tonight with a couple of recommends. This is a book that I first read in the 80s and I have recently reread because it's been rewritten, and it's called A Woman in Your Own Right. It's a very, very well-known book on women's assertiveness, and it's by a woman called Anne Dixon. Okay, so it's called A Woman in Your Own Right by Anne Dixon, and she uses 4 women or 4 profiles of women to actually look at the different ways they would each deal with the same scenario, and it covers so much of our lives as women. There is another one that a colleague recommended that's called How to Be Confident and Assertive at Work, and that is by Suzanne and Conrad Potts, their name. So that's How to Be Confident and Assertive at Work by Suzanne and Conrad Potts. But that is more like a workbook where, you know, you put things in it and work it through. Whereas A Woman in Your Own Right is literally just a book. You can pick it up, it's in short chapters, you can pick it up and put it down, okay? So on that, I'll just bid you all a safe and stay safe, and obviously look after yourselves. And hopefully we'll see you in a couple of weeks' time. If I don't see you in between, I'm sure some of you I will be seeing in between. And thank you very much for your time tonight. Really appreciate it. And I hope you got something out of it. We will share the slides with you. Bye.